Woman,
Mufumakazi,
Wansadi,
Musadi,
umfazi,
Frau,
mulher.
that is who we are. That is our strength. We are remarkable, brave, capable, unique. We are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. As we promised, we were still in studio while you went places, weeks went by, but you need to watch the conclusion of our topic because we explored about what they had before, the ideas they had on marriage, and what they heard, but they decided to get married. That's the point. Now you're going to jump into the preparations. In being in Africa, that might be a little different from what you are used. Before we go on, good afternoon, husband.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, guys.
Good
We are back, isn't that? To encourage them, right?
Yes.
If you haven't watched our previous program, we are going to give you some highlights now of what has happened and where we are going to pick up from right now.
Are you gonna tell the story?
You
complete it?
DJ.
First phone call.
I don't want to speak about phone calls
You,
because
Melissa.
She would never call.
first phone call, it was a mess.
What happened with first calls here?
I call her. I can't remember what we were talking about. But I remember she just raised her voice. Immediately after she finished, I was like, look, not even my mother shouts at me. Okay, she does, but I was trying to put emphasis. Yes.
What were the comments when you said we're going to get married?
I did it on a WhatsApp group, even worse.
Marriage will be painted as something very scary. You're in a plane that's about to crash and there are many buttons, none of them will work. So I carried that pressure.
You were so young and your life is just starting up. We can see you just finished like your degree and you're about to start your career. Why get married?
And we are going to hear all about that pressure.
Without further ado, let's head back to the show.
Now we're going to find out. You agreed, you informed family. Can we tell our audience what you faced from that moment you had to come into terms with family preparations? What does it involve in Africa in general and in South Africa? And what you have been through? Yeah, Percy wanted to get married, so he was not ready for what it was to come.
It was very easy to come to the decision of getting married, but to convince your family, especially in my case, imagine my wife and I decided to get married based on pure faith. During we're out having lunch, and then we just set a date, and then that date I sent it onto a WhatsApp group. So first step, what I learned, I thought that our parents they're using WhatsApp, so they see it as normal communication. Never communicate with your parents about such sensitive subjects on the phone.
Tips for the audience out there.
Because as soon as I did that, I didn't even know it was a big deal. I only found out maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks later when my mom we had the family meeting. So that's the first step. You have to have a family meeting.
Mm-hmm.
In the family meeting, I heard that it was disrespectful for me to do it over the phone. I have to call everyone. Technology has advanced in the Western world, but not culturally. Culturally, you have to keep it face to face. So that was the first step when it comes to the Lobola negotiations. I had to speak to my parents and family, but remember, we had 2.5 months to get the Lobola negotiations done and to have the ceremony. And that looked impossible because usually these things take months to prepare. Now I'm giving them like 70 days. They haven't prepared. Usually in the African tradition, your family also contributes somehow to your Lobola negotiations. But they hadn't had the time to prepare. So they were wondering, okay, you're going to negotiate with your uncles, with her uncles, with what exactly? And that was a whole nother debate. They didn't see how I'd do that. But eventually, spoke to my parents, sent us a delegation. Everything is done, as I said. It's done like it was done in the 1930s. So you write a letter. You have to write, you can't send a text, you can't call. Write a letter to your uncle, to my wife's side of the family. They read the letter. They have to respond via letter.
Via letter?
Yes. And it comes with the dates now confirmed. And then I had to go to my uncles now, which was another big deal. Because now I'm telling them, can you do this next week? Can you do this 2 weeks from now? And they're like, what? What's happening? You didn't even tell us you're getting married. So how are we going to pay Lobola in 2 weeks? That's the next step. They have to now come into the conversation. When you set a date, they came, and then now you already did all of this work, fighting with your family to get this date. I won't say fighting, but convincing your family to get this date. Now you have to convince the opposition, the uncles, her uncles, that you can take care of them. So all that squabble is not something you should take lightly, which I did. I took very lightly. I was like, it's nothing big. They know, you can see a person's pocket by looking at him. So they know my situation, they know her situation. They should have some sort of sentiment of, let's forgive him. He's going to take care of our daughter. It's not the case. I'll end it off at that. That's how I'll end it off. We had those discussions. I was shocked at the prices. I was shocked.
I think someone here, unless my husband wants to volunteer to explain to our audience, what is the Lobola all about? Would you like to?
I can try a little bit. It's very difficult to debate Lobola because you see this principle in the Bible, in the Galilean marriage, the dowry, as it's called, it is there. But the reason changed so much from one era to another and from different cultures. So here in South Africa, in many countries of Africa, before you get married, there is an amount that you have to pay.
The husband, or the husband to be?
The husband will have to pay, and the reasons will be different. But it's all about, well, we took care of this young woman, and we prepared her for you, now you have to compensate us. Interpretations will vary from one family to another, and very conservative families, they will not let go. You have to pay, because if you don't pay, you're being disrespectful. And if you don't respect our family, your marriage is going to be affected somehow. That's how Lobola goes. We can add lots of other things there, but unfortunately, this has gone out of proportion. Like Per said, they should consider our pocket and how hard it is. Some families, they do look into that. Other families, they don't. And the outcome is going to vary, and the consequences can be really unpleasant to the couples.
And a tip, Bishop, if you are about to take the step, I do advise that you do your research on the rules of the negotiations, because that's how you actually fight. Let's say they ask for something unnecessarily too high. It's not even expected that you can get that amount of money. So what I usually suggest, get your delegation right. People who actually know the rules. I've got a very good uncle. I was gonna give you his number for just for you guys tell someone good in your corner. I've got a very good uncle who knows the laws, how much each cow should cost, and
yeah, because he forgot to add on that the price is calculated on herds, on cattle heads.
Like they call it in Komayarama, which is the cow for the mother, which is the most expensive because the mom does the grooming, took care of her. And the prices vary, but they also vary according to status. So, for example, if you are a middle-class citizen, there's no way in Komayarama should surpass a certain amount. But if you're royalty, now the game is different. So as soon as they asked...
Imagine a feminist.
Exactly. As soon as they asked crazy prices or prices that are just over the top, my uncle would remind them, no, we're not marrying a princess. Yes, she's a flower from this house, but she's not royalty. And your prices are... So it's a very gruesome, strenuous negotiation. I advise you, if you're about to take the step, get your delegation right.
Was it stressful for you guys, for the two of you?
I actually told my uncles, you know what, just
Stephanie,
leave.
You didn't have to pay. So you should not express it was not stressful for you.
No, it wasn't as stressful for me. For me, I was in the bedroom the whole day. And people would just come in and out.
Yeah, because the bride is not allowed to be seen, isn't it?
Yes. And then because I'm Sotho, in the Sotho culture, you have to come out in blankets, and then they have to select the right bride under the blankets. His delegation has to select the right bride from the blanket. I know. And then afterwards, you go back into the room. And once you select the right bride, that's when everything else continues.
But he had already selected. You guys even had a date.
But remember, we are covered. So
but that part should have been skipped because the selection was already done.
Yeah, it was already done, but it's culture. So out of respect, we don't want to cause any issues in the family. So we were like, okay, yeah. But the whole time I was in the bedroom, the whole time. And then it was my family members that were coming in and out telling me what's happening. But it went on the whole day.
Let me make a question because I know Sipo is eager to speak. Is it possible that if this process, these arrangements between delegations and the selection of the bride and all that, if they don't come into terms, is it possible that the marriage will not take place?
I think so. I think it is a possibility, depending on what happens. So the thing that Stephanie is talking about, where she says the selection of the bride, someone I spoke to says they do that. They say they do that for games. Others say they do it as a scheme to make more money. Because here's what happened: they bring most, or if the family has 10 daughters, they'll bring all of them, cover them with blankets, and then they say to the delegation, choose which one. You need to choose the correct girl that the guy is going to be marrying.
Did you pick the right one? Your delegation chose the right one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, eventually you have to choose the right one. If you don't choose the right one, you have to pay. So in my side...
How was it with you guys? Something happened here.
In my side, there was a crossfire. And the wrong person was killed. When the blanket was pulled off, we're like, no, this is not the one.
So you also had to go through the same process?
Yes.
And also had to come into terms with the arrangement?
Yes, we need to find an agreement. An agreement. It's just that it feels very frustrating because it's like we're trying to move forward with something, but you're bringing this hindrance that just makes things so difficult, and it feels so frustrating.
It is stressful.
Very much.
And costly.
And costly.
Dino.
Oh, I was thinking about what Percy was saying. That
Now imagine in your case that the mother didn't even agree. Huh?
Last year it was a very difficult year for me. But I want to speak about what Percy was saying about being able to make your own research before you can even approach the uncles. We did that with my family. We have one of our grandfather. He's the one, like, doing the negotiations, like for most of my aunts and people got married in my family. So they went for negotiations because we trusted him. And they went to Mpumalanga, they came back. And he was there sitting by himself outside, alone, quiet. For the first time seeing him like that, coming from Lobola negotiations. Because in as much as like we can try to make our own research, try to find the best person to represent us. But if the other side want to make things difficult, there is nothing we can do. Because Lobola, I believe, is two families sitting down, having a conversation around two people, young people trying to build a family together, even though having nothing, but at the very same time believing that these people maybe like out of nothing, there will be something good coming out of them, whether financial or anything. So, but if the other side is making things difficult, then there's nothing that we can do. So whether you make your own research or you don't make your own research, once you get there, if they want to make things difficult for you, they will make them difficult for you.
Was it hard in your case?
Super hard, because last year I remember it was on Saturday. I won't forget that. I was working on Saturday. And I got a call from my mother, I think around 10 o'clock in the morning. And she told me the price that last year. And I left everything there. I told one of the guys that I was working with, like, for him to cover for me for the whole day, because the prices were crazy. Sorry to say, they were so crazy. And thinking about her mother, her mother.
Okay, we're going to start having marriage problems in the show. Because you're talking about her mother.
Because her mother, I won't say that she was making things difficult for me intentionally. As a parent, you raise a child, your daughter, she goes to school, she graduates. And for you to let her go, it's not going to be that easy. You're expecting a lot from her, for her to assist there and there. So for you to let her go, it's not going to be easy. But what I was receiving that time, it was so hard. I was even saying to my younger sister that, I don't want to be around, you see, because I took that as an offense there and there, but at the very same time, I had to understand that I can't blame her. It's not easy as a parent to let your daughter go to a stranger, because you don't even know how are they going to be treated there. So she made things a bit difficult for me, but her family also, like most of her family, they were happy with me. Only her mother was never happy.
Did you try to convince your mother to be more flexible?
Yes, we did have the conversation to be more flexible and all that. But as he said, she was somebody that had raised me, that had watched me grow. And also as a parent, you have expectations as to what you want your daughter to be. And that, in a sense, created that. And over the course of knowing the family that was coming and getting to know them better, she actually got to warm up and, trust in the process and become more accepting of the fact that I have to let go. And what was helpful also was that the elderly could see that, okay, maybe this is difficult, and they were able to advise her to say, okay, calm down and accept that your daughter at some point has to get out of the house. So but the process is something hideous.
It is.
Yeah.
So all of you agree it's very difficult.
It is. It's very difficult.
So it's not only a matter to decide to get married at a young age, and of course we're talking about finances here. As a young couple, you are not well in life, advanced that you can put such an amount of money without pressure on the beginning of your marriage life. Because of course, whatever you put in there, you had less for the rest of the preparations and to start your life with, right?
Yes, yes, it is. To think because, like Percy is saying that he had about 2 months and a half to prepare. What happened with Melissa and I is that I had planned and said we agreed on a date, and said, okay, April we're gonna get married, and then but the December before then, I was gonna go and see the family. The difficult side on with us was that I was taking the firstborn in the family. So if I'm taking the firstborn, I'm taking the one who was raised, who went to university first, who was working well, and she started taking care of the family. So if I'm taking their diamond, then my pockets has to be deep.
You will pay a diamond.
The compensation must be deep. So it was really something big.
I'm going to make a question, and I don't know if you're going to be able to answer to that. Do you think if families would be more understanding, it would warm young couples to get married at young age and not maybe to adapt to the situation of living together and thinking about getting married in the future? As Christians, we're talking about Christians, because we know marriage in the home affairs, in the church, is our principle. Do you think if families would consider this issue of negotiations, tradition, Lobola, of which we are not going to dispute the merit of it, because the element of respect, consideration, but if there would be flexibility, that would be a positive point for couples to think about settling younger than at later stage?
I think so. I really do agree with that point. If families were more considerate, the biggest problem I've come to see with young people, especially within our faith, is the question is, how did you guys do it? How much was it? The concern is not really anything else besides financial. And that's the biggest stress. But to also add on to the answer is, Lobola now is, as Bishop said, it's like tweaked and changed to benefit the family that you are taking the bride from. But if you go to the laws and the rules of Lobola, it was actually to help my wife and I to start a life. That's the law and the rules. And that's why it's very important, and I emphasize that you need to know the rules and the laws of this traditional aspect. There's a saying that we say in isiZulu, it's ilobola alpheli, or qedi lobola. That means you never finish the lobola. Reason being is, if once we are joined and we are one, if Stephanie's family is going through problems, us assisting the family is that Lobola not finishing. I'm continuing. And if my family is going through problems as well, Stephanie, because we are one now, and when I assist my family, she's assisting my family. So it's a very important phrase. My brother won over a very stubborn family-in-law just by that phrase, ilobola alpheli. So if you know the rules, and if people actually followed the traditions, a lot of young people were going to get married younger, I believe.
You made a research about, we even have Lobola calculators. What else did you find?
Now you're going to find that, for example, a South African guy, he is in England, and the lady is in Johannesburg. So how this Vulumulombo is going to work? So they are going to what they nickname as the Lobola app, which can be WhatsApp, can be a Zoom, that they are going to open the video and the qualities will be exchanged. So my daughter has degree, my daughter has this, that, and the other. And meanwhile, they are calculating the amount and see whether that's going to be worthy or not. All of you expressed how difficult it was, the process, and of course to their parents and to the parents of those who are going to get married. We don't mean disrespect, but I'm wondering if your children today would be getting married if you would put them through this. And the reason why we say that is because we came across so many situations where people from the church, they could not get married because there was an abuse of the Lobola price. And the guy decided not to get married. And the lady who claimed to love him so much said, oh, so we have to call it off. And guess what? He found someone else with whom he got married with, and the family were from the church also. And there was just an Lobola to like symbolize the respect culture thing. It was something very simple. And I remember the mother saying, my son, if you take care of my daughter, that's the best Lobola that you are going to give to me. And they got married, they are in the church, today they are assistants, and they are very happy. And the other one is still single. Maybe because the Lobola thinks is still there, maybe very high and probably now even higher than before. So I'm wondering in the mind of the young generation, how this is playing out. Because what are we talking about here is just like in the days of the Bible, the dowry was an amount of money that the bridegroom had to prepare to show to the father of the lady that they will be able to live in the next 2 or 5 years without major problem. So he had the house, he had the place for her to stay. So he would give to the parents of the bride, and that money would return to them. They wouldn't keep. As we said in the last program, Paul warned there'll be trouble in the flesh. So the Lobola and the rules that the family can bring in can make the trouble heavier. Is it going to be profitable? Someone will enjoy of that procedure, but how is the couple going to be left with that? That's something that everybody should think about. And please, we are not opposing Lobola. We are not speaking against Lobola.
Basically, it is biblical.
Yeah, what we are talking about here now is, where do you draw the line? When is it, up to which level this is really part of the respect? And where does it become disrespect? Because I have learned this with a taxi driver. He once looked at me and said, respect is like a road with 2 directions. Because I was doing something for him that I gave him so much respect. And then I asked for a favor. I needed to talk to him. He was on his way out to attend to an emergency. But immediately he stopped the car, he came out of the car, and he came to listen to what I had to say. And he said to me, what I'm doing is so important and urgent, but you showed me such a high respect. I can't look down on you, because respect is two ways. I am going to get married to your daughter, so he is my respect. He is the Lobola. But with the respect of the uncles or the uncle back to me, this is something, how many families out there are overlooking it? How does this affect the life of the couple?
So speaking about that, we are going to bring to you some trends on Lobola. If you're not used to that, you're going to learn a little bit now.
So, yes, Lobola stays the same in meaning, but the trends around it are shifting. One of the biggest trends right now is financial reality. Lobola negotiations are happening alongside real-life pressures, like rent, debt, the cost of living. So naturally, the conversations are changing. Another growing trend is partnership. More couples are approaching Lobola as a shared responsibility, planning together, saving together, and in some cases, contributing together. There's also a trend in how payments are structured. It's no longer always one full amount up front. Installments and more flexible agreements are becoming part of the process, making it more manageable for both families. And then, a noticeable shift in what is being asked for. In place of traditional lists, you'll now find items like smartphones, DSTV subscriptions, pizza, cakes, and even high-end electronics, reflecting a more modern lifestyle. Another interesting trend, negotiation itself is evolving. Some families are now bringing in experienced negotiators and in some cases even renting them. Specialized services that help navigate the process while still respecting structure and, at times, adding a bit of humor. So while the foundation of Lobola remains, the trends show a process that's adjusting, expanding, and keeping up with the times.
Lobola or not, preparations or not, fact is they all got married. And now we wanted to see if they are still vibing, because it was a long way up to this moment. And we wanted to know, how was the beginning of marriage? Your biggest challenges, your greatest difficulty, and your greatest joy. We are going to give to PJ and Tali because they didn't pay Lobola, they were not here. Culture-wise, it's different, but also they had to go through some of the procedures that we as the church advise them to. So it's not easy on anyone. Now, how was the beginning of marriage and adaptation? Leave everything and come to a land that you don't know, with a language you don't speak.
I think on my side, it was more of a personal challenge.
How long are you married for, starting with?
8 years.
10 months.
8 years good enough, okay.
Yes. So it was more of this challenge of leaving everything you know behind and starting new. But I think the troubles we had while talking were helpful to take us through this, because I think adapting to adapting to a new country and married would be a lot.
Okay.
So I'm glad we spoke a lot. We spoke about here conversations over the phone, but to me they were the most important thing, because we got to know each other's mind, we got to know each other's vision as well, what we want for our future. So the moment we got married, that was very much aligned.
But don't come and say that you didn't have any problems.
Of course.
Be honest. PJ, you won.
I wouldn't say anything major, to be honest. Perhaps our differences were also very different. She's an introvert, I'm an ambivert, and I think it would just be that our personality differences, clashes in tastes here and there.
Food, I think.
Food is very different. Her taste in food is very different to mine. Basically that, but nothing major.
Is it common to all of us? We have differences about tastes in food. For me and my husband, we're talking about opposites, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally. It's so funny that if I'm going to say I like this, he says, not this. A simple fact for me, avocado is to be eaten with salty foods. For him, it's with sugar. So there is this dispute often, you know? And it goes on until 35 years, I promise you. We didn't sort that out as yet. Who else? Challenges, Dino. How long are you married for? And challenges, adaptations?
Yeah, we are married now we're about to complete 6 months.
6 months? Oh, it's still in the beginning. That's nice.
But for me, one of my greatest challenge, as I said, that I never had a father figure. And I remember one time in a service, it was spoken that we don't need to go around seeking for guidance and wanting to know how to become a man, because we have God. So as I said, at the beginning, I could see that she was someone who was, I won't say, she was someone who was independent. And when we started staying together, the nature of a man most of the time was to do things like this and like that. And with her, it was difficult because she wanted to have things done according to her way. And
6 months.
yeah, and sometimes you want to say something to her, and then she will say the other thing. So we had a lot of disagreements within maybe 2-3 months married. But at the very same time, I had to work on myself. I usually say that to her, that marriage is about working on yourself every day. We will never stop, improving. We have to improve every day. So my way of doing things, it had to change at some point, because sometimes you want to use the hand of armor, the hand of the steel, because you want to, not to be controlling, but at the very same time, you end up controlling. So I had those problems. I don't want to lie. I'm telling the truth. But as time went by, I improved so much. As I said to her, I think last week, I was saying to her that every time when you pray about your marriage to God, He gives you inspirations on what to do and what not to do. And that's the only way, I can survive, because if I want to do things on my own, I will end up, being controlling in the house. So we had a lot of disagreements, because I've never had any idea of on how to become a husband. Mm-hmm. Same applies with her. She never had a family whereby, there was 2 people staying together, as an example, on how, she will deal with her marriage later on. So both of us, we had our differences.
Let me see if she agrees.
Yes, I do agree. There's so much that you need to improve as a person, that you need to learn as a person in order to adapt and get to know each other even more. So there isn't differences, and I think they'll forever be there. But you learn on how to actually be a better partner for the next person and understand them better. So yeah, from my side, that was it.
What was it that made you very upset that he has made during the 6 months, or told you?
I can't think of anything specific right now, but
It's coming.
It's coming, no. With just him wanting things done a certain way, and I'm not used to that. I'm not used to somebody who's going to. I stayed alone for a very long time at rest, so I'm not used to somebody saying, "Okay, things have to be done in a specific way." Yeah, so that's it. That's just it. But I got to adapt to that.
That's okay. After 5 years dating, did you truly know him?
Actually, yes. It actually really helped because the moment we got married, it's like we were best friends. I don't recall us having like a really bad argument. Like we have disagreements, but that's because of our differences, you know, differences in food, differences in, he never wants to watch what I want to watch, you know. But it's all,
that's normal. Don't
yeah, it's
worry.
normal. Like it's normal things, but like really like deep things. Like we're always laughing. We get on so well. I think the 5 years actually helped us because during those 5 years, you know, I wasn't always the difficult person, but during those 5 years, we actually went through quite a bit of hardship, quite a bit of loss, you know, and that actually helps us to get to know each other. So that by the time that we got married, it was just like, okay, we're just best friends, we're getting along, and yeah. I don't know if you agree.
Yes, I totally agree. As I said, that 5 years was very important. It was like, you know, when you're polishing like a diamond and you just keep on working on it, because we lost so much in that 5 years, and those losses and those hardships, there were so many fights, so many, within those 5 years, there were fights where like I was confused. Okay, why are we fighting? Why are we crying? What's happening? So those 5 years, I was learning a lot about her, and she was learning a lot about me. So I think the only time when after getting married, the only time I was angry at her, but I didn't even show her, is when she ate my food that I left in the fridge. You understand? That's how. That's how small. I didn't even show her. I just called her. I was like, do you eat my food? Then she laughed. And then after she laughed, I laughed. And then it was done.
Okay.
So those 5 years really helped.
In terms of decisions, do you agree on the same decisions, or at least you are able to negotiate the best solution?
When it comes to decisions, it's always good, like what I've seen with myself, let's say I come to a decision. I doubt my decision and bring it forth as like a question to her to see, because if I just bring along a decision, she may just get swayed because I said so. So usually what I've come to see is you bring it as I bring things as questions. Do you think this is the right way? Because I'm not really sure. And then you'll see her real input, her real answer. It's better than just a command. That's what I've come to see.
And when she says the opposite of what you were expecting?
I disagree. Like I'm like, you sure? No, I don't agree. But I always say this, that the reason why she's here with me is I've got 2 eyes, but together we've got 4 eyes. So if something is not well, or she doesn't really agree, I can't go through with confidence. So I'd rather not act on it. I'll just like look at it and let it be. So that's how we go through decisions.
That's nice. Melissa. Oh, no, you can, please.
No, I was also going to say that, like, we've come, like, I like what he said, that if he doesn't agree with something, I won't have peace going through with it. It's like we always have to come to, like, a common agreement, like we negotiate something that we're both confident that, okay, we can move forward with this.
Yeah, that's very important. It's a good technique because you still can do it, but not having the results or the happiness or the profit that you were expecting because one is not in agreement.
And the thing of, I told you so, you see? It didn't work. I told you also, like, you don't want that to happen. So
I guess so.
Yeah.
Ne? Ne, husband?
Definitely.
So you see, we are still trying. Melissa.
It's been a journey. I like saying it's
how
been
long now?
A year, basically.
Huh?
Yeah, April would be a year, 1 year.
A year.
And you call that a journey?
What shall we call after 35?
Just a walk in the park.
For me, it's been a journey because we completely come from different backgrounds. So it is a thing of, okay, you do things this way, I do things this way. So it's finding agreement to be like, okay, let's do things. Because I stayed in my own place. So, and my siblings who stayed with me, it was, okay, if you don't agree, it's still my place. So it must go this way, you know. Now we have to agree. I can't say it must go this way. It's our place.
Aha.
So
this is marriage, by the way. That's the definition of marriage, okay?
So it was learning to use our more than, but you are, or I am, you know, as ours now. It was a lot of hours. And it's mostly for me, honestly, it was the cooking part, you know? So he's not a big fan of pap. Mm-hmm. And I love it. Like, I love pap. Like, go home, we hear, like, it was a common cooked thing in the house. Obviously, because at some point was the situation we're going through, but it became a thing I loved at home. Pap with different meals. So having to come up with various meals, because he comes from siblings that know how to cook. His older brother knows how to cook various meals. So now you're coming in, you can't make pap. You now need to start being creative. Mm-hmm. Now every day is a creative. What can I do for him? But
after full day of work, of course. Yes.
But I guess when it comes to things where we don't argue, when we argue, I'm like, but I think it should be done this way or that way. I think what has helped was more of, we need to resolve it. Mm-hmm. Because he knows there's a high chance, not something I'm proud of, but I forget. So best believe probably 2 days, even though you can't address it 2 days later with me, I would have completely forgotten what caused it and what happened. So I want to address it then there, because I want to move on from it. Because if I do remember it maybe 6 months down the line, it's not worth bringing it up for me personally. Mm-hmm. So I like saying to him, okay, this is what I think, and this is what I think, and this is what happened. So he's a very calm person. Like, as much as he's very calm. And he likes thinking.
So he's capitalizing on your forgetfulness. You see?
So he likes thinking before. He will not. It is rare to ever find my husband saying anything without thinking. Even if he's upset, he will not respond until he thinks, and then he will say what he wants to say. He's very mindful of his words. So I just bring everything I'm thinking.
Does it irritate you? No, you, Melissa. Does it irritate you?
It used to in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
It's like, why are you too calm? You're too calm. You need to also react. And I was always expecting a reaction. But lately I've realized it actually helps me, because sometimes I make impulse decisions. So he would actually go, okay, think about it. So when he's calm, it makes me calm. And nowadays I'm learning how to calm down and reason. And it really is helping, especially in like professional wise. It's, don't take this personally. Be calm, think about it. It might not be as big as you thinking it is. So yeah, it has these moments I'm like, no, you need to react. But for him, that's how he is. And I had to learn that that's how he is, that's how I am. And we're helping each other grow in certain things.
Let me test it, Sipo.
Yes, Ms. Mash.
Did you develop that learning process? Or is it irritating, the impulsiveness?
The impulsiveness it's something that I got to adapt with and be like, I know how my wife is. I know that she can communicate and she needs to communicate what is on her mind. If she doesn't, she will forget. I know she will forget. For instance, when you asked, I think you asked Adorable, what Dino did, I looked at Melissa with the same question, and she's thinking, and she's like, I can't remember. What was the worst thing I've done to upset her? Because she can't remember. It's just like
what
that.
What a blessing for you. Isn't that, husband?
Very good.
You really wanted me to be like this, isn't that?
I don't know.
You don't run the risk of hearing, I told you.
No, for the few things she does.
The phrase came, I told you.
For the few things that she can remember, of course, but we remember a lot of happy moments. We remember, for instance, if I have to go to, let's say, just before we got married, the scariest part was when we agreed and said we were going to get married, everything went wrong. We were not agreeing, we were constantly arguing, so much so that we got afraid of getting married. And we were like, are we going to get along when we get married? So much so that it was such a shock when we got our apartment and we stayed together, and we were like, what were we afraid of? What were we scared of? Like, people amplified this thing of getting married, and now I'm like, no, man. We were afraid of nothing.
That's good. My husband, there are many couples out there who are trying to master, so it means they are still vibing. They are in the beginning of marriage. How to keep up for many years?
I think it's going to depend very much on your beginning. Because if you married someone for the wrong intention or the wrong reason, I can't foresee your marriage lasting that much. Unless, of course, if you bring God into that marriage. It's always very important to know who that person is. I usually ask the ladies when I'm going to have an interview, a quick interview with couples, I'm going to ask each other, do you know him upset? Do you know him angry? Do you know how he's going to react at different circumstances? If that's a problem for you to deal with it, then I'm not sure how you're going to keep the vibe. I'm afraid you won't be able to go on much longer unless if you look for help. Now, remember that when you look at me and my wife, here's a couple in front of you with 100% of chances of divorce. We were not supposed to be married, happily married. We were not supposed to pass the mark of 1 year. There's no way we would be able to, because I had no condition to be a husband, zero. I had everything against me. Her education, my education, her experience, my experience, her way of thinking, my way of thinking. And the difference is about what we eat, what we like. That was the least of our problems. I just didn't have any idea what marriage was. And I don't know if it's a fair comment, but for us, doing the work of God, marriage, it's like being able to survive through faith. if I'm not well married, 100% well married, I am not going to succeed in what I do. If I was a lawyer, a motor mechanic, a doctor, well, I can live married, although I don't have a great marriage, for forever. I can be a very good doctor having a very bad marriage. I can be a very good lawyer having a terrible marriage and having an affair. This is possible out there. But in what we do, that's impossible for me to be able to succeed in what I do having a bad marriage. So how you are going to pull it together? If you're married for the right reason, I am sure you are next to the person who is the one God gave to you. In case you are not a believer, a Christian, that person is your half. So we are going to disagree many times. Out of 10 times, 9.5 we are going to disagree. But we know how to use that disagreement. We know how to bring it together and use it to benefit us.
We learned.
We learned. I never had to sit down for counseling. We are fighting, we scratch each other, we are arguing. We didn't have marriage crisis. We never had that. We were supposed to have. So how you are going to make it? So if things are not working, you have to look for help. You have to look for help from the experts, from those who have passed the mark of 30, 40, 50 years, and they are well married. I heard one man saying, if you marry the wrong person, when you have a problem, that woman will be part of the problem. She won't be part of the solution. That's why in every crisis that I faced in my life, you were never part of the problem. You helped me to make things right and vice versa. So chances are that you are going to collide, you are going to divorce, unless you sit down and you talk and you learn how to listen before you speak. Because if you speak and I speak, you go loud and I go loud, we are going to have a war in our marriage. We are not going to get it right. So we have to be able to listen. And this is something that man doesn't like to do. Until today, I don't like to do it. I don't like to listen to my wife sometimes. I don't. And I'm not afraid or embarrassed to confess it to everybody. I don't like, but I do it. Because nobody loves me more than my wife. My mother loves me because I am her son. My brother loves me because I am her brother. But my wife loves me because she chose to. I love her because I chose her to be in my life. Only this says a lot. So you would be foolish if you don't stop to listen to each other. Because she chose you. You chose her. In respect of Lobola, no Lobola, or delegation, no delegation, there was a choice. And that is powerful. So if you learn to listen to each other, that's one. And the other one is, I'm not sure, but I think one of the things that helped me a lot is that I didn't get married to be served, to be helped, to have someone doing something for me. I got married to give give, give. Until today, I, I don't mean to attack anyone, but I'm remembering a pastor, by the way, who would share with his wife a chocolate bar. He would quickly eat his, and then she was a bit slowly enjoying that chocolate. He would take her chocolate bar and eat. And then I went to say, what? Because if I like that chocolate, I'm not going to eat. I'll give to her. And I like it. But I mean, no, I don't want. Because I want her to eat. This has been me until today and forever. I take from me to give to her. And she does the same. She takes from her to give to me. So we live in this give, 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 give. That's why we are happy. And if you don't live to give, you don't listen, you don't give, what do you want? You want divorce, of course.
And another thing that it was very important we learned in this journey is that it does not matter if I have the last word or you have the last word. What matters is that the last word, it covers both of our needs and opinions. And of course, sometimes we have to let go, to concede, to consider, but what matters is that by the end of disagreement or different tastes, different opinions, we come to a solid conclusion that might not be mine or yours, but will be the best course for that situation.
Definitely.
I don't think today we need God's pointing this, because in all we had God's pointing this. But I wanted to finish with one question. Would you do that all over again?
Absolutely.
Over and over again. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That is what I want you to come to. If you have peace of mind that you made the right decision. Shall you pray?
Yeah.
For us today.
Let us do it then. My God, oh my God. How many couples are going to watch this program with tears in their eyes? Because if on one hand they love each other, on the other hand they keep on fighting because of the differences. And they are not being able to use their differences for their advantage. The world that we live in today, it's so tough. It's a world of deception, of deceit, a world that sells fake marriages. Hollywood movies and other entertainment sectors will sell the idea of perfection. Everybody's healthy, is beautiful, it's strong, and so forth. How many people are thinking right now to finish the marriage because they think they can't cope? They think they have done everything when actually they haven't done anything besides arguing and fighting and wanting to be the last one to speak. So, my Lord, as Apostle Paul said, whether we are going to be single or we are going to be married, we are going to have affliction in the flesh. Well, I prefer to have affliction in the flesh with the one I love next to me, because we are going to help each other. I therefore pray that you bless those out there, whether they are struggling to find the right person or they are struggling to keep their marriage alive. May you give them strength, wisdom to move on. And we can't thank you enough to see here these young couples married happy, still vibing. On the other hand, we see so many other couples already dead after 1 year married or so. Father, we surrender their lives into your hands, and we ask you, in the name of Jesus Christ, help them out of their crisis and help them to be able to understand each other and use their differences, their weakness, with wisdom for them to be happy and strong. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for coming, for joining, for letting us have a little bit of idea of what you went through and why you made this decision of which you stand by for. Now, I wanted to invite you, if you are considering to get married, why not doing it before God and in the church? This is why we have the Weddings of Weddings going on the 30th of April. Maybe you have considered your finances. You wouldn't have how to put up a ceremony only for yourself. This is why we believe in marriage, we believe in the institution of marriage, the blessing of God, and you join other couples with the same purpose, and you have your wedding celebrated in a big group. Ours will be on the 30th of April in Soweto, 5:30. And you still can join us. Until our next program on marriage, weddings, and whatever else, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Celebration of Weddings 2026 is coming soon. A unique opportunity to celebrate love in a special way. This event is for those who are engaged and wish to get married. For couples who are in a steady relationship and want to make things official. And for those who have been living together unmarried for a long time. Or couples that only got married in a civil ceremony. The great celebration will take place on the 30th of April at 5:30 p.m. Register now at marriagedept@uckg.org.za or call our toll-free helpline on 0800 330 320. The Celebration of Weddings 2026. The opportunity to give your relationship a new beginning.
The first step to healing is simply reaching out. If you or someone you know needs support, email woman-to-woman@uckg.org.za or call 0800 330 320. Our toll-free helpline offers confidential, non-judgmental support.